Holding PVC conduit in the correct shape while it cools can be tricky, especially when creating complex bends. Several methods can be employed to achieve the desired results. Firstly, consider using sandbags. Place sandbags strategically around the conduit to provide support and prevent unwanted movement during the cooling process. Secondly, clamps offer another effective solution. Large C-clamps or pipe clamps can hold the conduit firmly in place. Ensure that you tighten the clamps evenly to avoid distorting the intended shape. A weighted frame is yet another option. Build a wooden or metal frame around the conduit and fill it with weights like sandbags or bricks to provide uniform support. Self-supporting techniques are applicable for shorter sections. When bending short sections of conduit, less than 12 inches, they tend to be more self-supporting and less likely to lose their shape. Using a heat gun in conjunction with wet sponges can be quite effective. Heat the conduit with the heat gun and carefully mold it around a form or object. Apply wet sponges to specific areas to accelerate cooling while maintaining the desired shape with your hands or clamps. A mandrel can be inserted into the conduit before heating and bending to provide internal support. A wooden dowel or metal rod works well as a mandrel, helping to maintain the inside diameter during the bending process. Pressurized air can also be used. Seal the ends of the conduit and pump in compressed air. The internal pressure will assist in holding the shape as the conduit cools. Using a dedicated conduit bender is always a good practice. These tools often have stops or measurements to ensure accurate and repeatable bending. For complex bends, consider 3D printing. Design a 3D printed mold that precisely supports the conduit while it cools, ensuring accuracy for intricate shapes. For specific 4-bend saddle with a 3/4 inch offset, some specialized techniques can be beneficial. Inserting a 3/4 inch wooden dowel or threaded rod into the conduit as a mandrel provides critical support. Create a form for the saddle bends using a plywood template or pre-cut wood blocks. Bend the conduit around this form and secure it with clamps to maintain the shape. When using a heat gun, focus on molding the conduit around 3/4 inch offset while applying wet sponges to cool specific areas rapidly. Maintain the desired shape with your hands or clamps until the conduit is completely cool. Designing and 3D printing a mold with the exact shape and offset required is a highly accurate approach. Insert the conduit into the mold before heating and bending to ensure precise results. The selection of the appropriate PVC schedule, such as Schedule 40 or Schedule 80, influences its bending characteristics and cooling time. Understanding the properties of the specific PVC material being used is crucial. Different PVC compounds may react differently to heat, so always refer to the manufacturer's guidelines. When heating PVC, maintain a consistent temperature to ensure uniform softening. Overheating can lead to scorching or deformation, while insufficient heating can result in cracking during bending. Use a non-contact infrared thermometer to monitor the temperature of the PVC surface during heating. It is always recommended to wear heat-resistant gloves to protect your hands from the heat and prevent burns. Ensure adequate ventilation when working with heat guns, as PVC fumes can be harmful. Follow all safety guidelines provided by the heat gun manufacturer. After bending, allow the PVC to cool gradually and naturally. Avoid quenching it with water, as this can cause uneven cooling and potential deformation. Support the bent section during cooling to prevent sagging or distortion. Before starting the bending process, thoroughly clean the PVC surface to remove any dirt, grease, or contaminants. This ensures better heat distribution and prevents imperfections in the final bend. When using clamps, protect the PVC surface with padding to prevent scratches or indentations. Use rubber or felt pads between the clamps and the conduit. Before making the final bends, practice on scrap pieces of PVC to get a feel for the material's behavior and the effectiveness of your chosen bending method. This minimizes the risk of errors on the actual project. Mark the PVC with precise measurements before heating and bending. Use a fine-tipped marker or pencil to ensure accuracy. Plan the sequence of bends carefully, especially for complex shapes like saddles and offsets. Consider the order in which the bends will be made to minimize stress and distortion. If using a conduit bender, select the appropriate shoe size for the diameter of the PVC being bent. Using the wrong shoe size can lead to inaccurate bends and damage to the conduit. Regularly inspect the conduit bender for wear and tear and replace any damaged parts. This ensures safe and accurate bending. Use a lubricant such as silicone spray on the inside of the conduit bender shoe to reduce friction and facilitate smoother bending. This is particularly helpful for larger diameter PVC. When making multiple bends, allow the PVC to cool completely between each bend. This prevents the material from becoming too soft and losing its shape. After completing the bends, inspect the PVC for any cracks, kinks, or other imperfections. Discard any damaged sections and replace them with new material. Use a PVC cutter or saw to create clean, square cuts on the ends of the conduit. This ensures proper fitting and sealing when joining sections together. Deburr the cut ends of the PVC with a deburring tool or file to remove any sharp edges or burrs. This prevents damage to the conduit and fittings. When joining sections of PVC conduit, use a PVC primer and cement specifically designed for electrical applications. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for proper application and curing time. Ensure that the joints are clean and dry before applying the primer and cement. This promotes a strong and watertight seal. After cementing the joints, allow them to cure completely before subjecting the conduit to any stress or pressure. This ensures that the joints are fully bonded and will not leak or fail. When installing PVC conduit outdoors, use UV-resistant PVC to prevent degradation from sunlight exposure. UV-resistant PVC is specially formulated to withstand the harmful effects of ultraviolet radiation. Support the PVC conduit at regular intervals using appropriate hangers or straps. Follow the National Electrical Code (NEC) guidelines for support spacing. Protect the PVC conduit from physical damage by installing it in a location where it will not be subject to impact or abrasion. Consider using conduit guards or sleeves in areas where damage is likely. When running PVC conduit underground, bury it at the proper depth according to the NEC. This protects the conduit from frost heave and other environmental factors. Use a tracer wire alongside underground PVC conduit to facilitate future locating and maintenance. The tracer wire allows the conduit to be detected with a cable locator. Cap the ends of unused PVC conduit to prevent the entry of moisture, dirt, and debris. This helps to maintain the integrity of the conduit system. Regularly inspect PVC conduit installations for any signs of damage or deterioration. Address any issues promptly to prevent more serious problems from developing. When making repairs to PVC conduit, use compatible materials and techniques. Avoid mixing different types of PVC or using incompatible cements. Grounding and bonding of PVC conduit systems should be done in accordance with the NEC. Use appropriate grounding conductors and bonding jumpers to ensure electrical safety. Label PVC conduit runs clearly to identify their purpose and destination. This helps to prevent confusion and errors during maintenance and repairs. Keep a record of the location and layout of PVC conduit installations. This information can be valuable for future reference. Consider the thermal expansion and contraction of PVC conduit when designing and installing long runs. Use expansion couplings to accommodate movement caused by temperature changes. When installing PVC conduits in cold weather, take extra precautions to prevent cracking or breaking. Warm the conduit slightly before bending or cutting. Store PVC conduit in a dry, protected location to prevent damage from moisture and sunlight. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations for storage and handling. Properly dispose of any scrap pieces of PVC conduit in accordance with local regulations. PVC is recyclable and should not be discarded in landfills. Consider the aesthetic appearance of PVC conduit installations. Run the conduit neatly and parallel to walls and other structures. Use paintable PVC conduit if desired to match the surrounding environment. When installing PVC conduit in corrosive environments, use corrosion-resistant fittings and hardware. This helps to protect the conduit system from damage. When working with PVC conduit, always follow safe work practices and wear appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE. This includes eye protection, gloves, and respiratory protection if necessary. Stay up to date on the latest codes and standards for PVC conduit installations. The NEC and other regulatory bodies provide guidelines for safe and effective installations. When in doubt, consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer. They can provide expert advice and ensure that your PVC conduit installation meets all applicable requirements. Remember that proper planning, preparation, and execution are essential for successful PVC conduit bending and installation. By following these tips and techniques, you can achieve professional quality results. In addition to the previously mentioned techniques, consider using specialized heating blankets designed for bending PVC conduit. These blankets provide uniform heat distribution, minimizing the risk of scorching or deformation. They are particularly useful for bending large diameter PVC. Another option is to use a hot box, which is an insulated enclosure that heats the PVC evenly. Hot boxes are ideal for bending multiple pieces of PVC at the same time. When using a heat gun, keep it moving constantly to avoid overheating any one area of the PVC. Use a sweeping motion and maintain a distance of several inches from the surface. If you are having trouble getting the PVC to bend smoothly, try applying a thin layer of petroleum jelly to the inside of the bend. This can help to reduce friction and prevent kinking. For tight bends, consider using a series of shallow bends instead of one sharp bend. This reduces stress on the PVC and makes it less likely to crack. When making bends near the end of a piece of PVC, support the end to prevent it from collapsing or deforming. Use a clamp or a piece of wood to provide support. If you need to make a bend in a confined space, try using a flexible PVC conduit. Flexible conduit can be bent by hand and does not require any special tools or equipment. However, flexible conduit is not as strong as rigid conduit and should only be used in applications where it is not subject to physical damage. When joining flexible conduit to rigid conduit, use a transition fitting that is specifically designed for this purpose. This ensures a secure and watertight connection. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to extreme temperatures, use high-temperature PVC. High-temperature PVC is designed to withstand temperatures up to 221 degrees Fahrenheit. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to chemicals, use chemical-resistant PVC. Chemical-resistant PVC is designed to withstand a wide range of chemicals, including acids, alkalis, and solvents. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to saltwater, use saltwater-resistant PVC. Saltwater-resistant PVC is designed to withstand the corrosive effects of saltwater. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to direct sunlight, use UV-resistant PVC with a light color. Light colors reflect sunlight and help to keep the conduit cooler, reducing the risk of thermal expansion and contraction. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to high winds, use heavy-duty supports and straps. This will help to prevent the conduit from being damaged or blown down. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to heavy snow loads, use snow guards to prevent snow from accumulating on the conduit. Snow accumulation can add significant weight and stress to the conduit. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to ice, use de-icing cables to prevent ice from forming on the conduit. Ice can damage the conduit and make it difficult to access. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to rodents, use rodent-proof fittings and enclosures. Rodents can chew through PVC conduit and damage the wiring inside. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to insects, use insect-proof fittings and enclosures. Insects can enter PVC conduit and damage the wiring inside. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to fire, use fire-resistant PVC. Fire-resistant PVC is designed to slow the spread of fire and protect the wiring inside. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to earthquakes, use seismic-resistant supports and straps. This will help to prevent the conduit from being damaged or collapsing during an earthquake. When installing PVC conduit in areas where it will be exposed to explosions, use explosion-proof fittings and enclosures. Explosion-proof fittings and enclosures are designed to contain explosions and prevent them from spreading to other areas. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing PVC conduit fittings and enclosures. Improper installation can compromise the safety and performance of the conduit system. Before backfilling trenches containing PVC conduit, inspect the conduit for any damage or defects. Repair any damage before backfilling. Use caution when backfilling trenches to avoid damaging the PVC conduit. Use hand tools or light machinery to avoid excessive force. After backfilling trenches, compact the soil to provide support for the PVC conduit. Compaction helps to prevent the conduit from settling or shifting. Periodically inspect PVC conduit installations for any signs of damage or deterioration. Repair any damage promptly to prevent more serious problems from developing. Keep PVC conduit installations clean and free of debris. Debris can trap moisture and promote corrosion. When working with PVC conduit, be aware of the potential hazards associated with electricity. Always disconnect power before working on electrical systems. Use insulated tools and equipment when working near electrical conductors. Follow all safety precautions to prevent electrical shock. When in doubt, consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer. They can provide expert advice and ensure that your PVC conduit installation is safe and compliant with all applicable codes and standards.